Hi everybody, I am lounging on my big purple couch and I'm going to be doing a voiceover for you today. I'm doing a project for Pie Art Squared. It is a wonderful show that happens in Toronto in March, and I'm going to be doing a voiceover. It's really kind of interesting. So let's just get right to the video and I'll explain everything there. As I said, I'm going to be doing a show in Toronto called the Pie Art Squared. It's put on by my friend and artist, Kate Taylor, and the Art Alchemy group. What's neat is that we're doing them on these round birch tondos. So these tondos are made by Rustic Burl, and I ordered a whole bunch of them, and you can see they're lovely, they're wood. The back definitely tells you which way is the top. I will be gessoing these with this Demco gesso. It's absolutely great. I do like to prime the wooden tondos to begin with. I am not even sure why they are called tondos. If you have any idea as to why they're called tondos, let me know. So here you'll see, I'm using a wet brush and I'm just dipping into the gesso and I'm painting and priming my tondos. So I will let these dry and then I will give them a light sand. What I find on the birch is that the grain rises a little bit when you gesso them, so you need to just slightly sand that off. And then after the sanding and they're dry and they're sanded, I will prime them red, just like I do all the time. So this, I'm taking advantage of the red that's been left in my palette, and I'm, it's a little willy-nilly. This is the stage where I always tell you, I don't put this red on in, such a uniform fashion. I'm not afraid of brush strokes. I use red because I'm getting rid of the scary white. So here, it's just a little reel that I did of showing the tondo prepped and chalked in. So here I'm going to be working on this little island scene, and you'll see I've chalked in my image, and now I'm using a burgundy paint to solidify the image, to correct anything. Once I start using the burgundy paint at this stage, it does solidify or identify some issues in the drawing, or it just lets me see very, very clearly. So I love this stage. I get excited at this stage. There's a freshness about a new painting and what it may come out as. I don't always know what it's going to come out as. Sometimes I do, but sometimes it's a complete surprise. So here I am starting in painting the darkest greens of the painting and identifying that flow. I'm kind of developing a color story throughout the piece. I want to make sure that the darks have nice shapes all on their own. And if you slow down the video, I believe there's some way, I don't know how, I've never done it, some way for you to slow down the video. But I pick up lots of paint on my brush, and I actually mix on the canvas, in this case, a tondo. So I'm going back and forth on the positive shapes, which is the little island, really kind of working the darks. So I'm going in between the greens and the browns of the rocks. Oh, a little bit of blue on that rock, and building that base, that darkest element. Now I'm identifying and starting to build the medium tones. So what you'll see is that I pop all over. I laughed because I had somebody saying, you pop all over, there's no rhyme or reason. And you might be right. I think it's just what my eye kind of senses that I need to have in there to allow me to have balance with the rest of the painting. Does that make sense? I need to build on the previous layer so that I know where and how much. Like, okay, so now we're getting the side of the trees that the sun is hitting, obviously. So you're seeing that the sun is kind of coming from the right-hand side, probably a little bit in the foreground and hitting that tree. And I am just building this painting. I'm color blocking and building in all my shapes, my island in the background, my the trees and the land in behind. If you notice on the left, I'm doing kind of a contrasty thing, whereas the dark side of the tree will contrast against a lighter bank of trees in the background. So if you notice on the left or on the right, did I say that right? If on the left, it's lighter in the background when I've got the darker in the foreground, and on the right, it's darker in the background compared to the light of the tree, okay? So this is where in the background, I build up to the sky. So I'm layering in different shades of green and things like that. And that will, as the painting progresses, build layers of trees and things like that. Ooh, I have gone right for it. And I am blocking in that blue. And this is what I call this stage. I call it color blocking. A lot of decisions are made at this point. And I will, like I said, bounce around with lots of color. But soon I've got to get to that background. You'll notice I'm not really washing my brush too often, but now that I'm starting the sky, I had to get in and wash that brush. I absolutely love, it's Amsterdam fluorescent pink. And I love it. I love to mix it. I love to touch it to Naples yellow, whites, and it's a Liquitex sky blue that I often touch with. But when I touch the fluorescent yellow with the fluorescent pink with the Naples yellow, oh, it just gives this glorious warm pink. If you know what I mean. I'm not using too much yellow that it turns it orange. I'm using just enough to take that fluorescent pink, which could be considered a little bit cool, and make it warm. So here I'm even starting on the sky. I always find, if you look at a sky, that the top part of the sky is the darkest part. And here I've popped in some darker blue right around the top of that tree. And I am just going for it, aren't I? Wow, just like slapping in that color. At this point, I'm using a lot of white and blue. So my color combo here is probably titanium white, a Liquitex sky blue light, probably a manganese by Golden in the very top there, and that fluorescent yellow or fluorescent pink. But there, do you see that lovely Naples yellow that I added to the horizon line as well? So basically, now that I've got the whole background in, I can adjust the foreground. It's kind of telling me where I need to go, what I can highlight, and things like that. So this painting is coming together quite nicely. And now I'll be coming in and doing a little bit of the details, just having fun, adding this, adding that. I feel like this morning when I turned on YouTube, it was a Rob Ross video, very interestingly. And just the way he talks about, add a little line here, give it some little branches. And his tone really was so soothing. I can see why people used to love watching his stuff, even if they didn't paint. I heard that a lot, that people watched it even if they didn't paint. It was very comforting and consoling. So here I'm adding some reds. And did you see there? I identified, you might have to go back and rewind, but what I did is identified that shoreline in the background. Did you see that? So if you need to, stop this, go back, and I just solidified that. And you can see that It is a little darker back there where it reaches the shore, and the lightest part of the blues are down at the bottom of the painting. The show launches March 13th, and it's got so many awesome artists. It's a really fun idea, isn't it, to do a show that is all round. Adding a round piece to your collection is really, really fun, and I think Kate really hit on something with this show. It's different from everything else. It's different from my square foot shows, and it's really, really fun. All the pieces go for $325. And I will be putting in 2 pieces. So I'm going to be sending them to Toronto. They will be available there live if you go to that show, but they will also be available online to buy. And I don't know how she's doing that. That sounds like a nightmare of organization, but she's checking the website. I think before you buy it in person, she checks the website to see if it has been purchased or not. So again, kind of like a virtual lineup, you can have access to it. I will definitely put the links in the description for Art Alchemy where this is happening. So here's a little detail and how this little painting is coming out. I probably will do a touch-up or 2 when I get back in the studio. Oh, and then I added the reel here, the little sped up reel that gives you even faster time than what I just showed you. But this was fun. I put some music to this, and this is what I will put out as my advertising for the show. This is a great way to do it, guys, if you're an artist, to do a time lapse. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It was fun to put it together for you and to show you some options that you have as a painter. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.